What up, my freaks? Ruina Sensei here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Orion has acquired the Spear of Kurnos now and has all of his items, powering up the entire faction with a little bit more control and a little bit of additional missile strength, which is going to be useful for all the range units. Now, that does mean that we are out of missions for Orion, or quest missions specifically for Orion. However, that's fine. They were sort of a stopgap measure while we waited to get new armies on the field, and now with our access to War Dancers, Treekin, and Wildwood Rangers and other things acquired, we should be able to get some good action relatively shortly with the new armies, and every single tree added to our roster will power that up even further, as we are currently mostly limited by the recruitment buildings or lack thereof and the limitations on those units. And speaking of acquiring additional trees, while taking a look at the list for more war declarations between the episodes, because just look at those. It's amazing. I've definitely never done this many war declarations at once before. It covers the entire diplomacy screen with just war declarations. In fact, it doesn't even fit in the diplomacy screen. Anyway, while I was taking a look at that between the episodes, I saw this. Torgavon is ready for a confederation, so we were gonna add another tree to our roster right now. Go. Alright, and while Athaloran is not yet completely ours, just Vidrioth remains as the holdout. Now, we know that Daith was up here somewhere. Yes. Alright, so Confederation, good. We'll have the debuff, obviously, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Out of curiosity, what does Daith have? Leafblade Veteran. It's kind of awful. That's a little bit unfortunate. I feel like Daith should be a pseudo-legendary lord, like the Red Duke. I mean, I say pseudo in the form of the game, like obviously they're legendary, but in the sense that they're not playable, but they should have unique traits. And Daith, being the avatar of a god, being Vol, or possibly actually directly Vol, is, yeah, certainly warranting that. And, oh, I just realized that you have a War Dancer. That's not good because we were recruiting them, weren't we? So will this stop? It might stop. I guess we'll see. It didn't cancel it, but I think we have less capacity. Anyway, what else do you have? A Waystalker, 2 Glade Captains, and another Waystalker. Oh, it's potentially good in the sense that we don't have other Waystalker capacity. Oh, you have Pathfinder. This is actually solid. More Arrows of Kurnos. Okay, well, keeping you, and I think we'll keep you for now, because it may be a while until we get sufficient capacities of these guys. We also have a unit of Way Watchers, some Deepwood Scouts, some Eternal Guard. The rest of this army doesn't relieve much to... isn't anything crazy. Glade Captain is kind of a met trait, and other Glade Captain... Unstoppable Charge. For the entire army. For the entire army. Huh. Wait a minute. just give me a second. Orion. So you have yeah, that's the Sisters of the Thorn buff. You have that big game Hunter. These guys don't have Unstoppable Charge. Therefore, they should. We have Haughty on you, which... yeah, well, Unstoppable Charge. We gotta get you to Orion, my friend. Now, here's what I don't remember. Can heroes travel without lords? You know what I probably should have done, actually? Actually, no, we're at 4 out of 2, so yeah, we weren't getting any more. And, hey, branch rates, we should take a look at those as well. Sylvan Swiftness on you, we can get another Spell Singer, and we'll probably need one. I'll figure that one out. I want to take a look at these guys. We got cooldown, physical resistance, sapling, fury, unit mass, and hit point increase, and Willow's flexibility. Free Penumbral Pendulum, and a Mastery of the Elemental Winds. Let's go with you, Katra. You will join Durthu and his general maniacness. He has good reasons, though. Now, let's just take a quick look. So you guys have Earthblood and Awakening of the Woods mixed with various shadow things, as well as Shield of Thorns. No regrowth, unfortunately. So I guess that We could, in theory, for Durthu, still make use of... Durthu has the beast lore, right? And it's not mixed with any other lore. Now, yeah, he has the beast lore, so would we be able to be fine without regrowth and just with multiple ranch wraiths? I guess we'll find out. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Anyway, let's keep moving everybody else. Orion, you were looking to hunt down Kazarak. We want him dead, and... Seriously, why can it move so much further than it says? The visuals are bugged, but anyway. Kazarak's gonna run, isn't he? Well, maybe we can intercept him. This is his only territory, right? Yeah, it is. So we should try our best to destroy him. Ooh, Northern Province's mission. Deathmaster Snitch, though. That's not going to happen unless we get another army down there. An army down there. Alright. Let's hope that he doesn't run, but we shall see if he does. Who else do we got? Deluric. You... can't keep recruiting more Sisters of the Thorn, which is what I wanted to originally get to Orion. We do have 5 turns of the hunt, so we should transfer to him some of this stuff and then come back here after. We could, in theory, potentially, do something like attack Grimtop. It's fairly sparsely defended. Alright, you know, let's risk it. We're gonna ride the world routes all the way up here. And I see a camp, but I don't see Greasy himself, so we could potentially raise a few of these structures, or even occupy Grimtop and try to trade it back to Greasy for peace. Because we don't necessarily want to be fighting him right now, though it may change later. Durthu, you, my friend, have to start going through Piercing Thorns, but only after we get Batwarden and all the other stuff from your unique tree. Got a tree, yeah, anyway. Let's have you attack. Oh, you know what we could do? You can pop into Durthu's army, leech a little bit of that XP. Oh, lovely. And Durthu, go into Forest Calls. Like so, oh, trespassing, I guess. And greenskins, yeah. Some of you guys pointed out in the comments that we might be getting battles against Bretonnians out of these forest encounters. Haven't had any yet to complete our missions, but hopefully. Abundant growth, greenskins punished, you will face a foe in battle. Indeed, we shall attack them. What do we got? Pyrrhic Victory Ambush. Hello. Well, that's nice. Let's see how the Dryads do on Ambush. Before we get started, however, we did make the engagement threshold this time around, and so this will be an hour-long episode. And since this is the 5th episode, this is the first time where we traditionally lower the engagement threshold for the first time. So from now on, 400 likes and 60 comments. And the next episode will be an hour long as well. Gore kill. Time to be gored and killed. Alright, here we go, a little bit more action for Durthu. And last battle he didn't get a chance to use his Lamentations of Despair, so he will attempt to do so here and attempt to succeed at it. I would say Savage Orc Biggins taken down by about half of their HP for that single use, and considering the 2 units of Savage Orc Biggins, or actually this is only a single unit of Savage Orc Biggins, that was the biggest threat on the field, and Durthu has effectively destroyed it. Alright, Durthu will march forth towards the enemy lord, who is backed up towards the rest of the Dryads, but our Dryads are marching on in and have ambushed the entirety of the enemy column. What if they fight stronger with the access to that little bit of water up above there? Anyway, this battle will go quick. I wager the rear of the enemy column has already been destroyed. 3 units of rock lobbers surrounded and obliterated by the Dryads. Of course, there's a few more threatening units like these stone trolls. Those are actually regular trolls, as well as boar boys and pump wagons. But fortunately, these are the flappa pump wagons and not the spiky rollers, which are just a lot more irritating to deal with. They do have Strider on them though, so they can escape quite a bit more easily, I suppose, but once again, damage-wise, they're not going to be nearly as strong. Anyway, Durthu has already taken out the enemy lord. The balance power shifts to about 90% in our favor, and only a few more enemy units are left to destroy. Frankly, not entirely sure where to pan the camera, because enemy units are dropping left and right super quickly. But, you know, eventually our armies will be sufficiently strong that we will probably just auto-resolve these forced encounters. But for now, well, the troops are still relatively basic. Alright, hey, Durthu finally wades into the fray, not just against the enemy lord, who he did kill with gusto, admittedly. Though by the looks of it, the enemy will shatter just as Durthu arrives, and that's just fine. There we go, the Dryad successful once more, and the last battle that Durthu will ever have with only Dryads as the Treekin are coming. Alright, there we go. Very nice little fight, a little ambush, a lot less difficult against the greenskins while in ambush than against the dwarfs while not in ambush, admittedly, but still a very nice fight. We will... yeah, take the money, and we're about to spend a lot of cash, most likely. And some of this army will survive. I guess the question is... yeah, no, we can't reach them. We can't reach them, but what are they going to do? Besiege the Oak of Ages, maybe? But they can't win it, so it doesn't really matter. Durthu, go into regular stance, assuming you cannot reach them. I think you can head back into your main territory, like so. Oh, lovely. I think you're in our main territory. Right, I couldn't tell. You know what, just get a little bit closer to the Waterfall Palace. You're gonna have to get units transferred anyway, including the other branch wraith, or the branch wraith generally. Young Stag, Assured Assailant, and actually I just want to double check whether their second branch wraith isn't worth our time here. I'm kind of inclined to get a second one with Elemental Mastery though. Or Mastery of the Elemental Winds, whatever. Actually, wait, is there a reason to get more than two of these? Does it stack per instance of it, or is 2 the maximum amount? Because Durthu would have it in the first place from you. But anyway, we'll see. I also, while fighting that battle, I just thought the disparity between quality of traits is pretty big. The entirety of the hero's army getting unstoppable charge, as compared to something like this, character experience gain and experience gain for units. And yes, don't get me wrong, veterancy is quite strong, especially in the current version of the game. In fact, it's very, very strong. However, all old armies pretty much are guaranteed to max out their XP, and the Wood Elves in particular, they get bonus XP to units out of every single one of their military structures, so we're gonna get this up to like over, I don't know, 300% at some point anyway. So, anyway, Trellan, you don't need to recruit here, I believe, unless, yeah, no, we're okay with these guys. And the War Dancers via global recruitment is too expensive, but not to worry, we're building more stuff, or at least are in the process of. Obsidian Peaks, Venom Glade. What the heck? Oh, I guess Dave captured this. Huh. Do you want this? Well, we're certainly not going to sit up here and defend this. You don't want this, okay? What about the... you? Venom Glade. You also don't want that. For the love of... alright, fine. Build a hunting camp there, and assuming that it doesn't get torn down, we'll see. You, Dave, are gonna go here. We'll put Aura into your army, and then we'll hopefully jump to the Witchwood, or march stance to the Witchwood, and make use of the Wild Hunt to get back to our main territory. Probably delete at least some of these units, mostly because I don't want an army full of just basic nonsense. But we'll keep the War Dancers, and obviously keep the Way Watchers and the, well, at least some of the heroes for now. Put the Way Watchers in Luren's army, and frankly, we'll probably get the Hawkeyes of Drakira in Luren's army as well. Oh, although I just had a thought, we should get the Hawkeyes of Drakira now. Because if we don't get them now, what'll happen is that if we get them at the start of next turn, they will reduce the movement range, because it does that for some reason. Anyway, let's get the hall up and running here. Yeah, alright, let's get the hall. I'm a little bit concerned about all the cost, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I also notice that we have a lot of military structures here. Guard platform, no need for you. We'll need to delete 2 buildings in order to get the growth stuff, and 3 in order to get the woodsman's hut. Do we actually want to delete 3? I actually like the presence of the area here because we can build eagles. Not a lot of eagles, but still eagles. You give hero capacity for waste stalkers, but we're at 4 out of 3 now, so we'd have to delete 2. Although I don't remember, are the waste stalkers here, do they both have terrible traits? No, you have Pathfinder, so we're gonna keep you. Maybe that's worth deleting, simply because we don't have the area anywhere else. We could also delete potentially the... You know what? Delete the Southway Gallery and this. We'll delete these 3 for now because they give us nothing until this tree is a tier 3, and it won't be a tier 3 for 14 more turns, which is quite the while. We'll keep the others, though. Alright, that makes sense. Next up, we are looking good. Diplo, I believe we did the last episode / between the episodes. We also checked the Middle Lords, which means we're ready for an end turn, and to see whether Kazarak will run, or whether he will stay. Will he stay or will he go? I think it's important to try to knock out Kazarak because I think... I'm not 100% sure on this, but I feel like Kazarak is a big reason why the Empire struggles. I mean, obviously Festus is as well because the Empire seems to be programmed never to destroy him. I feel like they should probably get rid of that, but anyway. Actually, I don't like how Festus is threatening Griffinwood. Don't want Draika to be destroyed before we can confed her. Anyway, Castalton, we're not going to peace out with you at the current time. We'll see. Frankly, I have my doubts about his ability to survive. But we'll see about that as well. Man, go by the list, and nearly every faction is red. And hey, the scout is still looking for more factions to declare war upon. And yeah, this is one of the big reasons why we couldn't do Old World for this campaign, because deleting half the factions in the world just to get normal end turn times would have been not great. Dangerous Winds, research rate reduction, miscast base chance. You know, I'm not going to bother with the Whispers of the Eyeless because it's kind of annoying, and it reduces growth at some point, and we can't have that. Pestilence Scheme performed, Clan Moors. Sure. And, okay, everybody's Pestilence Scheming today. Ally loses Outpost. As the alliance has been broken. Why? Mission aborted. What do you mean their alliance has been broken? They're not dead. I'm confused. Was that was the northern provinces, right? Wait. What did this say? World events, population surplus, mission abort. Defensive alliance broke. What? Why? They like us, and we're at war with all their enemies. In fact, they really like us. Why the heck did they break our... I don't understand. Is this a Tzeentch thing? Wait, no, we don't know Kairos. Kairos doesn't see us, so how could Kairos do this? I guess he could, in theory, see the northern provinces, but even that's doubtful. He's pretty far. What the heck is going on? Man, I really wanted some of those units. Oh, and we were so close to getting our first war drum. Damn it, Cathay. Orion is this close to burning the entire place down and turning it into a nice Azra retreat. Anyway, speaking of Orion, you have home amongst the bows now. We could go for Bounty of Kurnos, but frankly, Hawk's Talon is kind of meh. And... I do like the construction cost for military buildings, all provinces faction-wide. Do we need to build them right now? And what's the most expensive version? What's the most expensive military structure? Oh, they're pretty expensive. Okay, fine. I guess we are getting those then. Fine, Orion. Fine. The Hunters gather indeed. And we'll go for Speed of the Hunter and Rain of Spines and other stuff. And I guess power-ups for his actual units and Tempered Rigor and all the other stuff that he's missing after. You, Waystalker. What do we got here? Cunning isn't super necessary. We'll get the range. It's only 5%, but it'll power up the Hawks and the... and Orion himself at least slightly. You are going to go for Wild Hunt into, I guess, Flock of Doom for now. We're just waiting for Ariel. Wait, these guys did get built? Wait, just out of curiosity. Yeah, they're 3 out of 2. Interesting that they didn't cancel. Ooh, Durthu, you got your first Treekin, my friend. I know you've been excited about those. We're not gonna put the War Dancers in your arm, huh? On the other hand, wait. Okay, first of all, you go into this army. You leave this army and go into this army. Well, actually, we could keep leeching XP. Also, let me just take a look at here. Hello, Frenzy for Treekin and... Okay, well, this is... We absolutely have to have this. Durthu does not provide Frenzy for regular Treekin, so this is absolutely necessary. I didn't even know this was an option. So lovely. This makes them equivalent with... Wait, do Malevolent Treekin not normally have Frenzy? There was a comment suggesting that they did. Unfortunately, we can't select the Spirits of Shanlan or anything like that. Draika, quick question. Defensive Alliance. 715? Yeah, do it. The reason I want to see this is I want to see what Draika's force is looking like for when we inevitably confederate. Oh. The Defensive Alliance doesn't give vision of her units. It does give vision of her garrisons. I see Frenzy on the Tree Men and the Treekin. Yeah, so this type of branch wraith wouldn't do anything for us there, but it would most definitely do something for Durthu. So, Durthu, get yourself another branch wraith friend. Yeah, let's take you two, just for now. We'll use them for stuff. The question now, I suppose, is where do we send them? There's a lot of stuff going on here, so I'm inclined to say that Durthu needs to deal with it. And, oh, I guess he needs to deal with this jerk face. Wait, curiosity. These guys won't peace out like the other ones did. Maybe because they're orcs. But alright, that's more free XP for Durthu, and it will mean that Akiran here, the other branch wraith, will still be in range-ish. Auto-resolve, please. Alright, and take the money. We're in our own territory, so we'll heal up nicely. We should also double check what our confeds are looking like. Minus 17, alright. Alright, ooh, let's mill the lords. Well, not mill the lords, but let's take a look at the lords. Looks like you haven't been milled. Hello, armor plus 15 for elf infantry and cavalry. Now... Infantry and cavalry, you say? You could lead Wildwood Rangers, assuming that there is no other type of trait for Wildwood Rangers. You're new, so you won't disappear in the next few turns, so I guess we'll get you up and running in a few turns then. You could also potentially lead the Eternal Guard, though I do wonder if there's a better trait or a better buff for Eternal Guard than 15 armor. On the other hand, their armor being only at 40, it's probably a good idea to get them more armor. Assuming, well, let me just check here. Do they get more armor via their red line buffs? Piercing Thorns gives us melee attack and weapon strength, no melee defense for a defensive unit, that's surprising. Shield of the Forest gives them a little bit of armor and a little bit of melee defense. And the same thing goes for Wildwood Rangers, so a little bit more tankiness out of that. Alright, you're one of the recruiters. Okay, I got confused for a second there. Alright, Orion, I think I've yammered on enough. Let's Forest Calls up and let's knock out Kazrak. We should maybe also save Null, although these guys don't particularly like us for killing Angrund. We'll see. Anyway, Orion, kill. Pyrrhic victory, you say? I mean, it is a lot of hounds. We saw how the Wolfrats did plenty of damage to our Wild Riders. Let's see if the Beastmen Warhounds can do the same, or cannot. Go. Alrighty, here we go again, and Kazrak's main force, well, it doesn't look like anything crazy. He is focused on a lot of those Warhounds, and you gotta remember that, well, Kazrak does buff Warhounds there, his unit, though he does get a special variant of them in SFO, as I recall. We just don't see them here, at least I don't think. And we'll see how well they can do. Anyway, we're going to start the Battle of by focusing... Oh, Orion! Orion! The Spear of Kurnus into nothing. No Slaaneshi giggle for you. Anyway, we're going to start focusing down this Bestigor herd, rather, the most threatening unit on the enemy field. That said, the unfortunate aspect of this particular battle for the Beastmen isn't so much the fact that they have a lot of hounds, it's the fact that we're in one of these, this is like a unique herdstone battle. I don't remember when they introduced these battlefields or whether they always happen at these. The issue with these things is that the Beastmen, when under control of the AI, are in fact much weaker at fighting these things than they would be on a regular field battle, especially a regular forest field battle, as they would thus have protection from arrows and some places to hide in. But because of this, they treat it as a regular minor settlement and will not use their numbers to try to, you know, bum rush us as they normally would, which will, which won't be so great for them. Anyway, we're going to slowly advance for now. We have ammunition, even if it is limited in Orion's army, so we may as well make some good use of it. After the Bestigors, the next most threatening target on the field are the enemy Minotaurs, who are going to be the targets here. Orion will chuck a few spears their way as well, including the active ability of the Spear of Kurnus, which looks like it brought down, let's say, 1, 2, 3 of the enemy Minotaurs. Kind of hard to say whether these guys actually got knocked down and will get back up again. In fact, these two will. So it only killed one, but that's alright. Now, one unfortunate aspect of this is you can see that the Minotaurs actually did manage to charge the Deepwood Scouts. The skirmish was on. I did check it. The Deepwood Scouts were just like, no, you know what? Yeah, we already got out of bed today. We're not skirmishing nobody. And apparently decided to just ignore them. But oh well, what can you do? Anyway, fortunately for us, the Minotaurs are all done for. A few more arrows coming down from the Hawk Riders above will take the last. And that looks like that's it for the enemies that are near at the edge of the settlement. So, we'll move a little bit more forward and keep on going. Here come some of those Beastmen doggos. They do certainly move quick. 48 melee attack and 30 melee defense. Surprisingly solid on them as well. Frankly, in a direct confrontation with a unit of Glade Guard, the buffed Warhounds under Kazrak may be able to carry the day. Not 100% sure, but you know, certainly a possibility. However, they will not get through the Eternal Guard, though they will dish out some damage to them. The charge takes about 20% of the HP from them, maybe. Orion was out front in case he could blunt a few of the enemy charges, but it looks like they decided to ignore him. Smartly so, admittedly. And we'll back away. Alright, keep moving forward, getting a few of those additional arrows going into the enemy lines. Obviously, we've switched to the multi-shot arrows on the Hawk Riders, or rather than the armor-piercing shots that we had before. And, oh wow, you guys are wasting arrows trying to lead those Beastmen Warhounds. Try a little bit harder, please. Alright, and looks like a Gore Herd is actually going to head towards us, and they are running quick towards Orion, but they're not going to run as quickly as Orion does. Now, obviously, we didn't actually need to back him away. He could just stand there and they'd all blob up around him and get ripped apart, but I didn't really want to do that here. Let's allow them to charge, and besides, if they all want to charge together, Gores together strong, or maybe not so strong as they get hit with the Hounds of Kurnus and very much badly beat up. They do, however, allow for a screen. They screen a unit of Warhounds to join the fray once more and actually smash into the Glade Guard this time around. So they'll be doing a little bit of damage here, I'm sure, before being arrowed down. And here comes yet another unit of Warhounds. Plenty more where that came from. And this is kind of what I'm also talking about with this. This would have been more advantageous for Kazrak if he, well, he probably should have just attacked us if it had been a field battle, because then they could have just sent all of the Warhounds at us at once from every direction, or at the very least from the flanks at the same time as the Gores hit the front, and thus it would have been a little bit more difficult. But oh well. Beastmen can, on occasions, be cunning, but they're not the smartest bunch around. Anyway, looks like the Warhounds have been sent scurrying away, poor little guys, though there are, and by the looks of it, still a fair few in the enemy settlement, while we will continue marching forward and just baiting the enemy into our arrow fire. That said, the arrow fire is starting to get limited. All of our Hawk Riders are out of ammunition. Our Waystalker and Orion himself are nearly out of ammunition as well. Although he did, I believe, have one more Hounds of Kurnus remaining, maybe two, I'm not entirely sure. I think that was the last one. And, ooh, some Centaurs will attempt to charge us. Ooh, nice shot from Orion, knocking a bunch of them down in a line with his spear, not the active spear ability, just the regular one. And another nice shot from him. Yeah, when they line up nicely for Orion, it's always glorious seeing that spear just wreck its way through lines of enemies. Bounce power shifts to about 70% in our favor, but with our arrows nearly depleted, and the enemy still has a surprising amount of units left, or at the very least our elite units' arrows depleted. Our Glade Guards still have a fair bit. Here comes another spear from Orion. Let's see if it can manage to bring down a few doggos, and indeed it does. 4 down with a single shot. Not bad, but I'd say considering the damage that it deals, it would be better to be using it on Kazarak, but he is actually hiding all the way back here. He refuses to lead his forces into battle. At least so far. Now that's alright though, especially with our ammunition out. It's time for the Wild Riders to pick up the slack. Where the range units will fail to delete the enemy's remaining units, the Wild Riders will pounce and prance their way through them, running over the Gors and Ungors to hit the Razor Gore chariots behind them. You do have to watch out for the bleed effect on the Razor Gore chariots, however, and we're going to buff up our units of Wild Riders with a nice Vissen's Wild form, powering up their damage and giving them armor as well. And the Hawks will come down to join the fray as well. They're melee units, and now that they have run out of ammunition, the Wild Riders riding wild as they do, unstoppable by the low mass of the enemy Gors. And frankly, with the Warhounds brought down by sufficient numbers, we're not as afraid of the Wild Riders getting surrounded and obliterated by said doggos. Wow, that Ungor went flying through the screen real quick. And the Ungors attempt to escape, but ain't a lot of units that are fast enough to escape Wild Riders on the charge. There we go. Now, once again, there's something very entertaining about the Wild Riders. I like the way the stags move, as compared to the Horse Knights. I mean, don't get me wrong, I just love cavalry in general. Faction, it's one of the reasons I love the Vampire Counts. They have some of my favorite cavalry units in the game, and Hex Wraiths are my favorite unit in the entire game, so, yeah. And then there's Blood Knights. But anyway, well, actually, that reminds me. I know that I know that a lot of guys are waiting for the upcoming Manfred von Karstein campaign that was voted on by the channel members and Patreons. We will be getting that up and running eventually. Right now, the reason we're waiting is that SFO is due to have an update that focuses on the vampire count, specifically giving them access to vampire crypts, which are essentially the deeps system of the dwarfs, but for the vampire counts with probably whatever SFO touches that are brought. So I feel like there's no reason to play Manny, at least until we have that upgrade up and running. Gotta play with the new toys, after all. Anyway, we are out of ammunition on Orion completely now. The bounce power is at about 80% in our favor, though enemy units are still attempting to stream towards us. Looks like the enemy does have a Bray Shaman of Death somewhere in there, as he does manage to hit Orion with a Spirit Leech upgraded. Orion, I believe, has 30% spell resistance, which is something. But repeated Spirit Leeches are going to damage him heavily. Speaking of getting damaged heavily, regular Gors versus Eternal Guard, at least unbuffed, is not a particularly good matchup, and the Eternal Guard are going to suffer quite a bit of damage for doing so. We're going to move more Eternal Guard to reinforce, especially considering our regular Glade Guard don't have much in the way of anything they can do about this. Orion will, of course, lead his Wild Riders into the fray as well. The Doggos and the Gors will, by the looks of it, at least in large numbers, attempt to flee before the Hunters of Kurnos. And other enemy units can still be focused down by the remaining arrows on our Glade Guard. Another unit of Ungors by the looks of it. Ooh, I love the they're almost like fireflies or something. The arrows coming over the building like that's a pretty cool shot. You gots to admit. Alright, anyway, looks like those Ungors are destroyed. The units that have attempted to move through the barricade met with Orion, the Eternal Guard, and the Wild Riders, and will break and shatter as well. In the background, our Hawks have been working as well. Any unit that was isolated, as in by itself, this was a full HP unit of Gors, I believe, and got hit by 3 units of Hawks at the same time from 3 different directions, and ripped apart with nary a loss on our side. And of course, any enemy units that are shattered, or routing rather, but not shattered, are being chased by the Hawks as well, so that they get destroyed. Gotta love those Hawk Riders, and we'll be using them in several other armies as well, just because they're really fun. And of course, we gotta have an all-Air Force army. Hawks, Eagles, Forest Dragons, led by a Forest Dragon Glade Lord. It'll be nice as well. Too bad we can't get Brewar, the legendary dragon from the Imrik campaign, in on all of this. Huh. I feel like actually what they should have done is maybe gotten a few of the legendary dragons from Imrik to be distributed among the other elves when the player isn't playing as Imrik. Might have been neat. And not even just necessarily elves, just several factions. Some of those dragons are doing something. Although, to be fair, most dragons wouldn't really bother obeying other factions, or even obeying elves a lot of the time, to be fair, though forest dragons do have a tendency to make friendships with Glade Lords on occasion. Though unlikely they see them as equals in the way that they would see Imrik as an equal. But anyway, looks like the battle is nearly ours. Bounce power about 90% in our favor now. Remnants of the enemy Gors that were able to escape and rally, attempting to once again enter the fray. Orion towering over them. You call yourselves beastmen? Look at Orion. Oh, he's huge. Anyway, looks like that's it. The enemy army will in fact shatter. Our range units did the work, our melee units did the work, and Kazrak just hung out all the way here until the end of the battle. Little bit of a shame there, but I don't know. I guess he was too cowardly to face Orion in battle, especially as Orion is... looks like a beastman, but 3 times the size of one. So Kazrak's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to fighting Toddbringer. I'm done with this. I'm out. Alright, there we go. Bit of a shame that Kazrak didn't want to fight in... we got very little money for that, considering we have like plus, I want to say 40 or 50 post-battle loot percentage, and that's all we got for destroying Kazrak's main stack, plus the settlement garrison? Odd. Tremendously odd. Either way, we will cede it in order to trade it away. Got that defeated Kazrak trait, though frankly it's not a particularly good one, but what we wanted was to destroy Kazrak, which we did. So that is, well, we got what we wanted out of that. Lauren has an elven steed, although I don't know why the game is telling us about it now. We'll get the cattle pastures up and running in Grunberg, and I guess sit here for a turn or 2. We still do want to retrofit Orion's army, but that'll have to, maybe not wait, but speaking of retrofitting and stuff, let's get some more War Dancers of this variant, the Azray Spears, and let's start building those Wildwood Rangers. Damn the expense, but gotta do what you gotta do. Dilric and Trellan. You're both fine, and Durthuk has moved Lurin. Now the question with you is, oh, Scrag is here. We could attempt to ambush him. Now, go here while in it. I wonder if you'd peace out. Unless I just don't want to go back to Karak Buftar right now. You are willing to peace out, so we could do that. Only 1405, though. Kinda feels like it's not enough. You know what, go right here. If we can raise or occupy Xerixel, that might be swell. You do have to be careful about Scraggy, especially because of the Gorgers, which are going to be, well, of some trouble to you, but for now. Alright, who is up next? Daith. Now, we wanted to get you back, so... I see the Sisters of Twilight are here. In March stance, you are actually not able to reach where we want you to go. We have essentially no choice but to trespass in these guys' territory. Huh. It's a bit of a shame. Wait, are the other Wood Elves trespassing through their territory, or do they have an agreement? No, they're trespassing. The AI is, I guess they just didn't know what to do with, you know, programming some way to not ignore trespassing. But yeah, we need to get to the Witchwood while we have the Wild Hunt up and running. Too bad you're just out of range. Alright, go into, let's say, encamp stance. Right here. These guys have 2 armies nearby, so we should be okay. Go into training. Hopefully these guys don't declare war and kill Dave. Oh man, that would be a heck of a thing. Ooh, I also want to check out how these guys look. Alright, so this is Glade Captain 1. This is Glade Captain 2. Oh, very different looking from each other. You have the type of helmet that makes me want to put you with some Wild Riders because they have similar helmets, and because of Wanton Destruction, you're probably going to go into that army anyway, as in Orion's army. So, that works for me. Alright, this is another Waystalker. Looks completely different than the Waystalker we had before, and then the same with you. A little bit of a mix in between those two. Dave, also, do you have something that'll make you move further? Not the War Dancer Drummer. Just a Royal Standard Bearer. I'm not gonna give him anything else because I'm not so sure that he'll be actually leading an army right now. Scout. Go find us some stuff. Go find us some stuff to declare war on. Man, Norska has been surprisingly focused down by Be'lakor. Hey, if it isn't Mal's Darkblade. You are currently at war with the Ancestral Throng and the Broken Wheel. Declare war. Declare war. For money.
No help.
And then declare war on Mal.
Forbidden.
Oh, I don't know why this abuses me so much, but it does. Let's see. Worst factions encountered. So that's Malice, Crag, Broken Wheel, Nagaron. I think they already are at war with the Crag. They're a vassal of you, right?
Do not test
Yeah, so we're already at war with them. Good. Very good. Alright. Who's up next? We do have potentially... Oh, wait. We already moved... Where's the other army? Who was leading this army? I don't even remember. That was Deluric. Ah, yes, yeah, so I did not move you. We could potentially attack Grimtop. We have not fought ogres yet. Why not? What are you again? A Spellweaver of Beasts, and you have Wonders of the Force. I mean, I guess you can get this for now. You already have a basic version of Flock of Doom. We could get you Eye of Karnas or something like that. You know, let's get you Point Investment's Wild Form. We may need it. The regular Glade Riders, not Glade Guardians, are going to probably struggle a little bit against ogres, but anyway. We'll attack this in a second. Oh, they got a couple Man-Eaters and a Scrap Launcher. That'll be annoying, because we probably won't be able to easily reach it. Kugath is still out there. I also do want to double-check buildings, and we only have Torgavon. The important stuff here is these things, which we can't get as yet, but at least we can build the Woodsman's Hut. And then we can build the... we can build those. We could allow it to grow a little bit faster by costing ourselves 500 gold per turn. I guess that's what we're going to do. We could also just send Trelon or somebody up there. Although... frankly, you're needed to grow stuff here as well. Maybe we should get another one that grows places. Spellweaver. Oh, right, we need them to actually be at a higher level than they currently are, so... not yet. Not yet. Leafborn Servant. Still probably gonna get you on the field, and just have to take another look at those. Alright, let's fight some ogres then. They did declare war on us, and they're nearly ready for peace, but there's nobody to declare war on, eh? Maybe after we raise the place, they'll be a little bit more amenable to the thing. Go. Alrighty, for Isha indeed, and we've got the debut of several units that we haven't seen as yet. First we got the Glade Riders, the Hagbane Tips. I do like the way they look with the shields and stuff. Almost like I mean, it's still obviously fantastical, but a little bit more grounded they look this way. Though, frankly, I don't even remember what regular Glade Riders look anymore. And then, of course, we have the melee Glade Riders as well. Huh. Wait, these aren't melee Glade Riders. Was like, wait a second, those look very similar. Melee Glade Riders are here. There we go. The Glade Riders with spears. And okay, okay, the double shields may be a little bit much. If you had gone with the second shield, maybe you should have put it on the other side of the horse from the from this. Oh, now we got arrows on the side. We could have swapped those. Huh, yeah, you have arrows and the shield on those horses, despite the fact that these are the melee variant. And oh, look at these guys. They have backup swords as well. Okay, should have just gone probably with this horse. But anyway, their armor at least looks good, and there is certainly a decent amount of variety here. This guy, for example, doesn't have twin blades, but another lance/spear on him. Anyway, we've surrounded the enemy and are going after the enemy man-eaters as our first target here. We'll take a look at the Sisters of the Thorn in a second as well, but I wanted to see the charge of the Glade Riders. Now, we do very much have to be careful here, charging into man-eaters, into melee, with a basic unit of a light cav. Like the Glade Riders, these aren't Wild Riders, which would absolutely obliterate the man-eaters. They'll perhaps take some damage themselves, but we do have to be a lot more careful here. These Sisters of the Thorn, of course, are casting as well, and okay, where's a unit of Sisters of the Thorn by themselves? I'm going to take a look at how they look in this mod. Alright, and there they are. Certainly look like casters here. Or do they have... Yeah, they have their stabs and they have their spears that they chuck with that lethal toxin, not toxic venom that they got. Gotta remember that the healing modifier that those guys has will probably help us should we need to fight Festus or, well, Nurgle, I guess. Huh, funnily enough, we are down here and near to Nurgle Town. Alrighty, but for now we gotta deal with ogres and their town instead. The range units are doing a little bit of damage, let's say. The Glade Riders with spears are still fighting, though several of them have taken heavy damage fighting man-eaters and ogre bulls directly in melee. Of course, we could have probably kited them a little bit more, but there was a need to knock out the man-eaters with ogre pistols that are sitting here and firing away, as those ogre pistols are very threatening indeed. And they are getting riddled with arrows from multiple sides and will be brought down shortly, I hope. As I was saying, we needed to bring those down as well as that darn enemy scrap launcher, which could do quite a bit of damage if, well, if it actually hits. In this particular case, and not so much. Also, I want to see, what do the arrows of the... Oh, they look like regular ones, not purple ones, eh? I wanted to see what the arrows of the Sisters of the Thorn looked like. Alrighty, down go the man-eaters with ogre pistols by the looks of it. The last one will fall. The scrap launcher is still firing away, and ooh, looks like... didn't quite hit directly, but still did plenty of damage, so we're gonna have to watch out for that. Fortunately, the Glade Riders that have backed off are going to head for that scrap launcher, while the others are certainly strong enough to deal with the Nobblers who are sent flying. And there we go, the Nobblers get trampled, and we gotta head towards that scrap launcher, which will attempt to get away now, especially as it has taken further damage from our range fire. Several of the enemy ogre units have also been led away from the battlefield. This one and this one that were attempting to chase around these two Glade Riders, but because of the poison, because of the Hagbane tips, the ogres are unfortunately, for them, unable to catch our Spellweaver. Alright, and by the looks of it, the last of the enemy units on the field are, surprisingly, this unit of Nobblers and the enemy Slaughtermaster, who is still running around as far as I check, but isn't going to do so for much longer, as he will shatter, and the first battle against the ogres will go our way. Fun stuff. Oh, fun stuff. Nice little debut, and it certainly shows that this army can take one of these ogre settlements in the Mountains of Morn, so should we decide to do so, we can certainly go around there raising and gathering up money. Alright, there we go. Fun little fight. Suddenly we took damage on the Wild, or the Glade Riders rather, but charging light cav into ogres was always going to make them take damage. Now, look at the damage on the Sisters of the Thorn. 18k and 17k, very, very solid. Generally more than doubling the damage of the Glade Riders, but Sisters of the Thorn and SFO have always been very, very strong because of that poison that they offer. Just gotta get more capacity in our armies. Anyway, do we sec or raise this? You know what? I was gonna peace out with them, but 2.6k for raising it may not be such a bad thing. Create a little ruin barrier as well. What's the likelihood that that'll be worth a decent amount if we try? Just sack it. Just sack it for money. These guys won't be too happy about it, but frankly, once again, Gold Tooth declared war on us, so it's kind of their problem. You willing to peace out now? Yeah, that made them a little bit less angry, although the raising of that place probably didn't endear us much to them. How much money are they willing to offer us? I mean, I really don't want to deal with them and Kuget at the same time until we have a proper army for Deluric, so I think we'll peace out with them for now. Though, frankly, with them being as sparsely defended as they are, we could probably easily take the Great Hall of Greases, should we desire it. Go into ambush right there. You would be able to reach it from here, wouldn't you? Raise the Great Hall of Greases. I guess the only problem with destroying the ogres is this. If we destroy the ogres, we'll create a power vacuum, allowing Grimgor most likely to move southward. Oh, actually Grimgor, well, I mean, it'll still allow him to move southward, but these guys are friendly. Yeah, the ogres are never gonna like each other, are they? Are never gonna like us, rather. Yeah, alright, fine, we'll raise some of their stuff. It looks like being friends with them is unlikely unless they're willing to break agreements with Grimgor, which, by the looks of it, they're probably not. Yeah, minus 22. Alright, sorry, Greasy. Might get his defeat trait, though, because it's pretty nice. At least for trade. Trelon, you are just a recruiter and you don't need to recruit right now until we have more capacities of various kinds. 2 more turns until more Treekin capacity. And Durthu's waiting on that. Actually, speaking of Durthu, while we do want the good stuff here, probably want to preemptively get Skin of the Woods for his Treekin. Well, actually, it's not even preemptive anymore because we already have some. Rain of Spines is useless to him, and Speed of the Hunter is useless to him as well, so the rest will be saved for Ancient Enmity and whatnot. Alright. And no more heroes other than Spell Singers. Do we get Durthu a Spell Singer? Recursive Anra here. Although, frankly, with the other armies are probably going to need Spell Singers as well. Now, you know what? We're going to need a Shadow Spell Singer for the Loec army. Shield of Thorns is very nice. Bound Shield of Thorns on him. Feels wrong for a Loec army not to have a Shadow Mage. I don't really care about the Bretonnia thing, but free Shield of Thorns. What are the other options, though? We got passive for Wayfarer. We got damage. This is probably, well, I was about to say this is probably not going to disappear, but just in case it does, we'll get you on the field and we'll replace you if needed.
My powers are yours.
As in if we can get a new one. We are building the War Dancers for the Loec army after all, just gotta make sure that we can actually get the Shadow Dancers up and running. Is it tier 4 only? Is it Forest Patrols that allow us to unlock these guys? It looks like it is. So, we'll need to build one, I guess, at the Waterfall Palace, because it's the only place. We can delete the Forest Lookouts here and replace that with the Shadow Dancer building. Because it's the only tier 4. At least, it's not the only tier 4, but it's the only tier 4 that we're gonna have in the next few turns. Although, technically the Haunted Forest as well will have one of these. It does say it doesn't stack. Oh. Well, we can always swap buildings around as needed. The thing about the Haunted Forest is that it has a space taken up by the Exotic Animal Tamer, so there's that issue as well. Anyway, I do believe we're ready to end the turn. What do we have here? Spell resistance for Zotes and Lord and Hero recruit rank. Oh, I could have waited and gotten that Spell Singer. Oh well. We'll do it next turn. If we get a better Spell Singer, we'll get a better Spell Singer. We need capacities either way. But I suppose once we get to tier 4s, we can get capacities via these things, the unique buildings. What do you want? Military access? No. We're going to have to kill you because you've taken a tree, and we can't be having that. Just another war declaration, I suppose. Though most of the places without our allies around will probably not bother building too many in the way of outposts. It just doesn't feel necessary. Alright, what do we have here? Midsummer Sacrifice. At the height of the forest's power, a sacrifice must be offered to strengthen the weave and reaffirm the bond between Azrai and Spirit. In return, the forest will offer a boon. Choose wisely. Growth plus 50. Oh, I can't say no to that. Ooh, research plus 50. Control is kind of a... not for Wood Elves, anyway. For other factions, control's fantastic. Gotta go with growth. Gotta go with growth. Sacrifice. And Heralds of the Tempest destroyed, Crag destroyed. That's 4 less wars than we were having before. War. And I guess we're still going for a Strath, the Lord of Hunger, for the upkeep reduction, aren't we? It's just the best one. And we don't have sufficient eagles to make good use of Wisdom of the Eagle Lords as yet, nor do we have our first ritual. This one's coming up soonish. What do we have here? Bull and Crad. This would be risky, wouldn't it? And the reason it would be risky is because we don't know where Greasy is. Hope I don't lose this army. We are somewhat likely to attack this. But anyway, Orion for now. Man, Empire, what are you doing? What's the likelihood that Altdorf will fall here? That's a solid, that's a solid rebellion. Random Chaos Knights and Chosen showing up in a random rebellion? Will this guy survive? We do have military access with him. I'm just not so sure that I want to send... I'm not so sure that I want to send Orion even more up there. Doesn't feel like there's a need. Also, ooh, we got new trade goods. Does that mean we got new trade partners? Alas, it does not. Chevalier de Lyonesse now wants a non-aggression pact. I mean, we could do it for now. We may have to betray you if we never get a forced encounter that is good for us. As in, that has Bretonnians for our mission to complete. Marienburg, Kurun, you want a straight-up military alliance now. Well... may not be a horrible idea. Once again, I'm fine with keeping the Bretonnians around simply because they can just sort of police Bretonia and not have us have to do it for everybody. Do we want to peace out with anybody here? Probably not. Especially since we are 4 wars down. 3 doors down, 4 wars down. Kurun, EU military alliance.
And I will see if it is within
the other Wood Elves are happy about this. Yeah, let's do it, Lewin. Let's do it. Lewin, after all, does hold the record for the second most thresholds reached in a campaign after Archaon, so why not? He deserves a treat. Ryan. We probably should send him to Carrick Hearn to destroy these guys for good. Once again, this is sort of leaning towards the power vacuum situation, but you gotta do what you gotta do. How far can you actually move like this? Like that, apparently. Alright, probably could have actually jumped into Wissenberg, but I didn't. Could have saved... I was about to say, could have saved some money, but no, Barian's army is free, so no, we couldn't have saved some money. Daith. Finally time to send you through the Witchwood. Maybe I should have done military access with them because we could have traveled through it, but we'll wait until they build the Witchwood up to tier 3 or something and then take it. What's the trait here? +4 missile strength faction wide. Unit capacity Hawk Riders. +8. Yeah, that's a pretty strong one. That's a pretty strong one, so we will want it reasonably early. Just gotta make sure they don't start fighting the Sisters of Twilight, because we don't want them to die. Anyway, you're going to go into March Stance. You are going to travel right into the Witchwood, ignoring the whole trespassing thing. And yeah, this guy certainly has a lot of armies here. Then you are going to Deep Roots all the way back. I guess to the Oak of Ages, because you're gonna have to trade stuff, so click here. Yes. Alright, then... we need this Glade Captain, Akiran, to leave the army and get that unstoppable charge to Orion. We need... what do we have here in terms of the Waystalkers? We want another Waystalker, not you, the other one. Yeah, Pathfinder. You are going to want to join Lurin's army.
Glade
Lauren currently has just the Glade Captain, certainly needs the Waystalker. We'll keep the other two here for now. There's a decent likelihood that we'll swap them out. Speed for Accompanying Lord, nah. Frankly, the Waystalker traits aren't all that crazy. Maybe we could just put both of the Waystalkers in the ranged army. It is an all-ranged army, and it should have sufficient quantities of Waystalkers. And I also didn't get you a Spellslinger, didn't I? That's going to be a lot of heroes, actually. Maybe too many. Makes me think that perhaps we should... We'll see. Anyway, we're going to get rid of the basic stuff, but not the Way Watchers or the Azure Spears. Or these are word answers. Maybe get rid of that Glade Captain. I'll think about it. Disband all of you. I mean, technically they don't cost anything, but we're also not going to be using them in an army anyway. Daith. Alright, wait. Hey, Kieran, you're supposed to go to Durthu's army. Durthu, are you needed up here? Should we just send Durthu to kill Heinrich? So that we don't have to deal with him later. I was going to send Durthu down here, but I think maybe we'll send him up there instead. Durthu, go here to Paravon. There we go. Hey, Kieran, you're going to pop into Durthu's army. Yes. And you are going to keep building stuff. Including more Treekin and stuff. What kind of Spellslinger was this again? This is Shadow for the Loic one. But we have to keep an eye out on better Shadow ones. Verdant Sage, I do like the post-battle chance of stealing a magic item, but other than that, it's not super great. Meh. And you can't reach Durthu right now? Or can you? Just to leech XP. We'll bring him back once we swap the Azure War Dancers out. Yeah, you can leech. Alright, lots of heroes, but frankly, with only a limited number of Treekin, it's kind of necessary. You, I believe I said, was going to go to Forest Patrols out of Forest Lookouts, so we'll do that. Frankly, we could probably do that everywhere. Once again, though, if this doesn't actually stack, there isn't too much purpose for it. Oh, you already have this one. But the wrong one in this one. Well, that's fine. We should upgrade this to tier 3. Oh, that's all of our cash. We won't be able to recruit this turn then. You know what, let's wait. Let's see if we can rack up a little bit of cash by fighting, and then we'll figure it out. Also, Scout. Anybody else that we could declare war on? Make a little bit of headway in terms of getting even cheaper armies. Anybody around here? Let's see those factions encountered. Factions destroyed, no new factions encountered. Well, isn't that a shame? Alright, oh. I believe we have pieced out with the undead, specifically the Vampire Coast, specifically Aranessa. No, he didn't. I pieced out with somebody, and I was thinking about declaring war on them, but I don't remember who it was anymore. Honestly, that tells me nothing. Alright, I guess we'll ignore it for now. Luren. You have to raise Zerixil. Oh. He's in March stance, but we would be right in the middle of enemy territory if we were to attack him, but he's in March stance and in... Oh man, this would be a good opportunity to destroy his army. It really, really would. And he really, really doesn't like us either. It's dangerous. But I feel like Luren lives on the edge. Let's get you Bolts of the Forest to, I guess, very, very slightly power up the range units. Maybe Eye of Kurnus would have actually been the better power-up. That's too late. Arrow of Kurnus for you. Alrighty.
How can I assist you? Lord of the Glade.
Frankly, I'm not so sure that we need 2 Glade Guard or Glade Captains in a ranged army. Once again, they don't do much for range units, other than if we have some range cab, in which case they do. But only some of the range cab. Oh. Well, Kinband Captain is only during forest battles, and this is during forest battles, so really we don't care about that. Oddly enough, we don't have that as many forest battles as you might think. Anyway, we're gonna do this. It's dangerous, but what are you gonna do? Let's just hope that there isn't another, like, 3 full stacks hanging out, because Boldag could attack us next turn as well. Then valiant defeat by the looks of it, but, we'll see what we can do. War Banner on you, sir. Let's see how hard you can hit. Scraggy is going to be a bit of a issue for us, but let's hope we can steal some good stuff, namely that Giant Blade from him. And go. Alrighty, here we go, and unfortunately for poor Mr. Scrag, this is a choke point battle. Not only does the enemy have to go through a choke point, not only is the choke point filled with water, which will slow them down as they attempt to cross it, but on top of all that, we have the high ground as well. What I'm saying is it's over Scragakin, we have the high ground. Oh, it's Ogre Scragakin, we have the high ground, and look at those arrows fly, Swiftshiver Shards and Hagbane Tips smashing into the enemy lines, and Starfire Shafts following up as well. An Iron Fist, I want to say? I must forget the name of the spell. Bone Crusher, Iron Fist, whatever. Bone Crusher coming down on a few of our units, but fortunately the relatively loose formation of the Deepwood Scouts means that they didn't take too much damage. Gorgers and Co. still attempting to make their way forward down to 44 speed. Still decent speed, but certainly being slowed by the arrow fire. And our Swiftshiver Shards will back off towards our Glade Guard as the enemy marches forth. Or at least attempts to do so. Scrag is also being, or has been, focused down this entire time by the Glade Lord, and by the Glade Captain, and the Hawkeyes of Drakira, who I actually forgot to take a look at here. And let's take a quick look at them. I no longer remember what they used to look like, so... But they do look good. Let's see how much damage they do. Scrag is certainly not having a good time against them, and both our Lord and Hero, and here comes a full volley. Although plenty of arrows from that, by the looks of it, will have landed in his cookpot, and, well, I'm sure he wouldn't mind eating a few of them and adding them to the pot. Anyway, more ogres attempting to make their way up this high ground hill, but are very much failing to do so, dying in droves as they get riddled with arrows. For those who love range-focused armies, this is probably scratching that itch, and this army will get more powerful and add even more various arrow kinds to it. There we go. Alright. Could maybe use some Salamanders or something in this army as well. Yeah, the Ogres and the Nobblers will get arrowed down, but that is only maybe 2/3 of the enemy army, and another blob remains around here. So we're going to reorient ourselves and start moving towards these guys as well. I do wish it was a daylight battle, but the arrows lighting up the darkness ain't too bad either. Alright, you best get a move on there, Ogres. You've got a long way to travel to cross this distance. Arrows of Kurnos are also coming down into your lines. And there's one, and then there's two. And they've got a long way to go to even reach these Swiftshiver Shards, much less the Glade Guard. But the Swiftshivers will back off via their skirmish stance, assuming it doesn't fail, which it has a tendency to do. Anyway, good luck to Ogres. And of course they're tired as well, very tired, due to the march stance that they're in. I guess the ambush did work out for us in the sense that while we didn't actually manage to ambush any Ogre army, we did manage to trick Scrag into being nearby while in march stance. Alright, a Nobbler is being sent up ahead of the Ogres. Probably they should have started with that strategy, but it's too little too late. The enemy has a Hunter as well, but the Hunter with 120 range is unlikely to reach anything. Besides, Orion's faction, I'm sure, is eager to show him how to actually hunt. Not that he'll live to appreciate the lesson. As with that, I do believe the battle shifts to about 95% in our favor. A couple more units moving in, and ooh, a unit of Wild Gorgers has appeared, as they are unbreakable and they are in stock. Have actually managed to reach our, or not reach our lines, but get much closer than the rest of the enemy units did before getting ripped apart. With the fall of the Gorgers, it looks like the enemy Ogres have lost heart, even the most savage amongst them destroyed by the Azrae, and will shatter, and the battle will be ours. Get a few more shots in there, just because the arrows firing look pretty cool. Not that there's a need, because the army is destroyed due to its march stance. Alright, very nice, and I take it Lauren doesn't have the post-battle loot trait, because 911 seems like not a lot of money. 2, 3, 4, oh, release captives. Yeah, I mean, we're in enemy territory, we've barely taken any damage, so we're fine. Alright. Alright, campaign movement range. Hey, another Royal Standard Bearer certainly needed that. Oh, you get... I didn't realize you get bonus casualty or punishment rate from Scrag. Damn, Orion, I have another job for you. Somebody also suggested we go after the Feckin' Knights as well as what's his face? Festi, the bestie, may have additional casualty or punishment rate. When's a magic power reserve capacity on a base this is all decent. It's all decent. The miscast base chance is useless to Orion himself, however, and even a magic power reserve would be nice for Ariel. So yeah. Anyway, Lurin, I'm gonna pop you into a masterful ambush stance and we'll go about causing some havoc in the territories of the Disciples of the Maw, though that's said by the looks of it. And we probably won't be able to do that this episode as we're kind of out of time. There's still the Great Hall of Greasy to attack, but I think we will save that for next episode as we are already 4 battles in, and that's just, it's a lot of editing, guys. It's a lot of editing. Anyway, I'm gonna call the episode here, and we'll start the next episode. You know what? Let's just build this. And we'll start the next episode off with attacking even more ogres, as well as trying to send Orion to knock out Clan Angren for good. Sorry to Belegar, he has a tendency to get killed in like every one of my campaigns for one reason or another, even when playing the Order factions. But, well... He's kind of in a bad position. He has a tendency to, well, you know, get into it with the Wood Elves, and it kind of causes an issue. I suppose Durthu does as well, but then if you attack Durthu, you basically have to attack all of Athel Loren. Anyway, more Orion to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the hour-long episodes. Stay tuned for the newer armies coming up soon as well, since we're recruiting them. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.